Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera bagi kita semuanya. Good afternoon and also good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Phase 1 TVET project closing and kickoff ceremony of Phase 2 revitalization of TVET in the agricultural sector partnership of Indonesia and the Netherlands. Can I have a big round of applause to open today's event? First and foremost, please allow me to greet our honored guests who are present here today. Bapak Wikan Sakarinto, the Director General of Vocational Education, beserta seluruh pejabat eselon 2 di lingkungan Kementerian Pendidikan, Kebudayaan, Riset, dan Teknologi. Selamat siang, Bapak Wikan.
Selamat siang, good afternoon, and guten morgen.
And of course, we also would like to welcome Ibu Ardi Brahen, the Deputy Head of Mission, along with Bapak Jos van the Agriculture Counselor of the Embassy of the Kingdom of the Netherlands to Indonesia, Timor-Leste, and ASEAN.
Selamat siang.
Selamat siang, Ibu Ardi. It's very nice to have you today.
Pleasure, sama-sama.
Thank you very much. Dan selanjutnya, and of course, we also would like to welcome Bapak Agung Harjono and colleagues from the Office of Presidential Staff atau KSP, Ibu Ida Widi Arsanti and colleagues from the Ministry of Agriculture, Bapak Peter Van Tol and colleagues from Nufik Neso, Indonesia. Bapak Dodik Rido Nurrahmat from IPB University and colleagues, as well as Bapak Jan Verhagen and colleagues from Wageningen University and Research, the Dutch knowledge institutions, companies, and stakeholders, the principal and teachers of the project pilot schools, SMKN 5 Jember and SMKN 2 Subang, as well as the partnered industries. And last but not least, the Project Management Office of the TVET Revitalization Pilot Project. Ladies and gentlemen, it is such a pleasure that despite the current situation we are facing, we are all gathered here on this special occasion to celebrate an important achievement of the strong partnership between the Indonesian and Dutch government. My name is Elvin Janita, and it is my pleasure to be your MC for today's event. Ladies and gentlemen, seluruh Bapak dan Ibu yang kami hormati, through the MOU on Vocational Education and Training, or VET, with a pilot in agricultural cooperation as a startup phase from 2016 to 2021, the Netherlands and Indonesia have been involved in a 3-year pilot program to revitalize vocational training in agriculture. Since the signing of the technical agreement on March 8, 2018, development of TVET activities has been conducted at 2 vocational schools in agriculture, SMKN 5 Jember and SMKN 2 Subang. The activities designed and implemented has focused on 4 pillars, namely institutional strengthening, curriculum development, teacher capacity building, and infrastructure development. After 3 years of implementation, we are gathered here today to celebrate the milestones and accomplishments that this cooperation and partnership has brought to both countries. May I invite you once again to give a big round of applause for Indonesia and the Netherlands. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, Ibu dan Bapak yang kami hormati, to begin the ceremony today, we would like to invite His Excellency Mr. Lambert Krijns, the Ambassador of the Kingdom of the Netherlands to Indonesia, Timor-Leste, and ASEAN, to welcome us all with an opening remarks. So ladies and gentlemen, please join me to welcome His Excellency Mr. Lambert Krijns.
Bapak Ibu hadirin yang saya hormati, it's a great pleasure, it's a great honor for me to be present here at the occasion of the finalization of the 3-year pilot program. Since the year 2016, Indonesia and the Netherlands have been working together to improve vocational education in Indonesia, in particular in the field of agriculture. We believe that improving vocational education will have a direct impact on the quality of human resources, on sustainable food production and the welfare of the people in both countries. Now, green education in particular is essential for the Netherlands. Without good education, green education at all levels, we would never been able to become the second largest food exporter in the world. Now, I'm therefore happy with the achievements and the lessons learned of this 3-year pilot program, and the results of our joint efforts is that schools, students, farmers and the industry together feel empowered to produce competent graduates who fit labor markets needs and who can contribute to a modern farming sector in Indonesia. And the development of the agricultural sector is also closely related to dealing with some of the major challenges of our time, such as climate change, climate adaptation. And the Netherlands has the ambition to play a leading role in research, education, collaboration, and promoting sustainable food production as a part of a circular economy. And I'm grateful to the Honorable Minister, Pak Menteri Nadiem Makarim, that he joins me today in opening this event to celebrate the achievements and to continue our collaboration by upscaling lessons learned. A number of specific priority areas has been indicated, such as building innovative high-tech approaches in the Indonesian agricultural sector through vocational education. And thanks to innovation and the application of high-tech, has the Netherlands been able to become such a large producer of food on a very small area of land. Finally, our countries have such close relationship and mutual interests in the agricultural field. This will be fertile ground to continue engaging the Indonesian and the Dutch knowledge and the private sectors to together shape green education, agriculture and sustainable food production in Indonesia together. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, His Excellency, Mr. Lambert Heinz, for the remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, moving on to our next agenda, I would like to invite Bapak Wikan Sakarinto, the Director General of Vocational Education, Ministry of Education, Culture, Research and Technology, to convey the general remark and reflection on the revitalization project phase 1 and way forward 2021 to 2024. So ladies and gentlemen, let us give another big round of applause to welcome Bapak Wikan Sakarinto.
Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon. Salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan, Rahayu, and Guten Morgen for colleagues from the Netherlands. The Honorable Ibu Adi Braken, the Deputy Head of Mission, along with Bapak Yus van Ung, the Agricultural Counselor of the Netherlands to Indonesia, Timor-Leste, and ASEAN, Bapak Lambert Heinz, and also the Honorable Head on Duty of Bureau Cooperation and Public Relations (BKHM), Bapak Hendarman, Bapak Edi Tambunan, as the Secretary Director General of Vocational Education, the distinguished directors, colleagues from the Directorate General of Vocational Education, the Project Steering Committee representatives from the Office of KSP, Bapak Agung Harjono, and all the team members from the Ministry of Agriculture, Bapak Dedi Nur Samsi and colleagues from Nufik Neso, Bapak Peter Van Duel and team, representative from IPB University, Bapak Dodi Nur Rahmat and Bapak Eko, my colleagues, Bapak Jan Verhagen and colleagues from Wageningen University, the Dutch industry stakeholders, the principals, teachers of the project pilot schools, SMK Negeri 2 Subang and SMK Negeri 5 Jember, as well as all partner industries, the project management office of TVET revitalization pilot project. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish you all healthy and very well, especially during this pandemic. Ladies and gentlemen, First of all, I would like to express my highest appreciations to all stakeholders as for the achievement of the first one of this project, so-called revitalization of TVET or SMK, vocational high school in the area of agriculture sector, the partnership project between Indonesia and the Netherlands. Then, of course, I would like to send my gratitude as well to the government of the Netherlands for this long-standing collaborations in the field of education and research, and especially for supporting vocational education in Indonesia. Ladies and gentlemen, as frequently stated by the National Medium-Term of Development Plan by Indonesian government, our President, Mr. Jokowi, has the mission to develop human resource who are productive, skilled, mastering science, technology, supported by all stakeholders and global partners. And link and match is the key of that we have to deal with to come up with this strong collaboration between vocational education and industries. As we know that we will reach the demographic bonus in around 2030, I think it's going to be the golden year where the population will be dominated by the working age generation. So this means that we must prepare to improve the capacity of our human resource massively in order to get the benefit of the demographic bonus. Vocational education is very important. It aims to create skilled human resource, play an important role, and become one of the government's priority to be improved and strengthened, especially to face the challenge of Industrial Revolution 4.0 that demand us constantly and always to keep up with the current technology and as well as the change. Distinguished audience, ladies and gentlemen, through the MOU of vocational education and training with the pilot project in agriculture cooperation as the startup phase from around 2016 up to now, the Netherlands and the Ministry of Education and Culture have successfully implemented the 3-year pilot programs to revitalize vocational training in agriculture, in vocational high school or in SMK. Well, ladies and gentlemen, speaking of the Netherlands or the Dutch colleagues, not only in football, we can also learn from the Dutch in the area of agricultural products and food products, as the Netherlands is considerably the second largest food products and agricultural products leader after the US. Even the size of the area of the Netherlands is not so large. And of course, I will always cheer for the Dutch football national team. I hope you can make it for the next tournament. As a pilot project in the startup phase, development of vocational education training activities have been conducted at 2 vocational schools, as I mentioned previously, in the area of agriculture, SMK Negeri 5 Jember and SMK Negeri 2 Subang. The activities design and implement have focused on 4 pillars. First is institutional strengthening or link and match. Secondly is curriculum development made design together with the industries and stakeholders. Number 3, teacher capacity building, mindset change, leadership, competence of the teachers. And last but not least is infrastructure development and as well as the equipment of the laboratory. I am very grateful that the result of the project is reported giving positive impact to the quality of both schools. I'm very happy to hear that. So in terms of the competence and the mindset and also the behaviors. Firstly, it was summarized that the program's implementation is quite effective in terms of responsibility borne by both Indonesia and the Dutch parties, as agreed at the beginning of the project. Secondly, beneficiaries, for example, teachers, students, alumni, private sectors, governments, officers, and so on, have received benefits from the implementation of this project, aiding the value of relevance aspect. Thirdly, with respect to program sustainability and impact in general, the program has been able to encourage behavioral change through increasing knowledge in various groups of beneficiaries, which has appeared not only with schools, but in Jember and Subang, both in Jember and Subang, but also among the private sectors within national and regional scope. So I would say that the mutual collaboration between Indonesia and the Netherlands has offered a new perspective and opportunity for the young generations to make their own career path in agriculture sector as young farmers that have global thinking skills, but still hold the values of our ideology, Pancasila. Ladies and gentlemen, after the first results obtained, we do all agree that to continue the collaborations moving forward to the phase 2, with the scope of MOU can be enlarged to other sectors, horizontally to other 5, maybe 5 at least, I hope, 5 SMK, and vertically with the vocational higher education institutions. So not only SMK, but also vocational campuses. Through phase number 2, or second phase project, or the continuing project, hopefully we can achieve a greater success on these objectives. First is technology as the key driver in agriculture progress. Secondly, development of facilities and infrastructures that support improving and updating the competence of students and also teachers. This is very important thing that we have to consider. And number 3, the sustainability of food production is also related to climate adaptation and the establishment of circular economy on the basis of zero waste principle, what so-called green educations. And last but not least, to make agriculture aspirational and more attractive for youth, revamped as a sector filled with a lot of opportunities for technologies-based agriculture and innovation. So we would like to see the young generations that come up with entrepreneurs or young entrepreneurs in agriculture. So soft skills and competence are very important that we have to consider, that we have to implement in the real curriculum and the real teaching methodology. From those objectives, we know that technology and science in green education system will be main focus to improve. By mastering current technology, we can anticipate major change that happen worldwide, including socio-economic and environmental to structure change that also occur due to this pandemic COVID-19. Many countries began to transform their education system, so do we. We have to encourage our teachers and school personnel to figure out innovative methods of learning using technology so they can meet the needs of flexible system in the future. I am very confident that the Netherlands, with all experience in agriculture, can support us in reinforcing vocational human resource through the programs and activities that have been developed to fulfill the needs of the industries. I strongly believe collaboration between Indonesia and the Netherlands will further strengthen our common goals in increasing prosperity in both countries. Last but not least, I thank you, all stakeholders, who support this program, and also I congratulate for the finishing of the phase 1. So allow me to close this speech with the quote, "The secret of getting ahead is getting started," said by Mark Twain. So let's start the phase 2 of this project. More SMKs, more institutions in the area of agriculture sector by hand in hand to achieve a greater futures. So thank you very much. Dank u wel. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Bapak Wikan. Ladies and gentlemen, Bapak dan Ibu yang kami hormati, before we are moving on to the next agenda, we would like to welcome Bapak Henry Tambunan, who has joined us today, the Secretary of Directorate General of Vocational Education, Ministry of Education, Culture, Research, and Technology. Selamat siang, Bapak Henry. Bapak Henry will later sign and officiate the renewal of the technical arrangement together with Ibu Ardi Brachen later on. Thank you so much, Bapak Henry, for joining us today. Baik, Bapak dan Ibu, tamu undangan yang kami hormati, ladies and gentlemen. Now it's time for us to move on to the next agenda, and it's time for me to invite Bapak Jos van the Agricultural Counselor at the Embassy of the Kingdom of the Netherlands to Indonesia, Timor-Leste, and ASEAN to convey the reflection of the revitalization project phase 1 and way forward 2021 to 2024. So Bapak Jos van the virtual floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Selfine. Selamat siang. And good morning to the people in the Netherlands, and welcome everyone to this closing event. And as Agricultural Councillor, I'm very happy to be here in this event. And as already mentioned, I think it's not just a closing event, but also the start of the next phase. And for me, in my role as Agricultural Councillor, I think education is as important as technology, innovation, stimulating trade. I think it goes hand in hand. We are working together on vocational education since 2016. And with this program, we strengthened the collaboration in the last 3 years. Green education is important, as already mentioned by the Director General, but not only in Indonesia, but also in the Netherlands. And as mentioned by the Dutch Ambassador Grijns in his video statement, we are very happy with the achievements and the lessons learned of the 3-year project. So let me just highlight some of these successes. The efforts to strengthen the collaboration between SMKs with the industry have resulted in synchronizing the curriculum with the industry, improved teachers training, and enabling SMKs to officially obtain a blood status. I hope I pronounced it correctly, the blood status, but it means that they received the status of regional public service agencies, which enables schools to sell products from teaching factories because the schools are allowed to have some income next to the government subsidies that they receive. This status allows SMK schools to operate closer to the real market conditions, and thus contributes to the link and match of the schools with the private sector, which is, I think, an important goal for the Indonesian government. I also want to stress the relevance of the strategic working group, such as the program steering committee in this collaboration. They help to optimize the collaboration between the Ministry of Education with the Ministry of Agriculture and the Office of the President. And we in the Netherlands also are sometimes struggling to promote such horizontal collaboration in our government, which is important to integrate different projects into a more coherent approach that works together, achieving tangible results. And I have been part of this steering committee for a while and enjoyed the discussions we had on the vocational education on a strategic level. And therefore, we are glad to sign a new agreement that will continue this way of organizing our collaboration via the steering committee for green education. Overall, we look forward to continue our collaboration by upscaling those lessons learned to 5 schools and hopefully more in the coming years. But for me, there are some specific priority areas that has been indicated for the continuation of our collaboration in green education. And promoting the agricultural sector is one of them, as also mentioned by the Director General. Improving the reputation of agricultural among the younger generation, millennials, remains a top priority. A large proportion of young people does not feel attracted to agriculture, As a result, the labor force in agriculture is coping with the shrinking and aging population. And this does not support the introduction of new technologies or up-to-date production design in farming and food production. To make agriculture aspirational and more attractive for youth, it needs to be revamped as a sector with a lot of opportunities for technology-based agriculture and innovation. And in this regard, I would like to mention the Empower Youth for Food campaign, launched in April 2021. This campaign will continue at least for another year and engage youth, knowledge institutes, government and private sector to address issues and create opportunities in the field of agriculture. This campaign also features the Change-Making Challenge, which encourages students from vocational up to university level to come up with ideas to stimulate innovations for sustainable agri-food value in the regions. On 12th of August, and exactly that's International Youth Day, the winners of the challenge will be awarded with prize money to turn innovative ideas into reality. Another important element that I would like to mention as agricultural counselor is to link vocational education and also this new agreement to other initiatives. Our collaboration in the coming years will focus on technology and innovation. And I have good hopes that at this point in particular, we will be able to share knowledge and expertise to improve vocational education in the agricultural sector for sustainable food production in Indonesia. As you probably all know, Indonesia is working hard to develop its agriculture, especially the food production, as also mentioned earlier by Director General Wikan Sakarinto. It is in search of new technologies and concepts to develop the current and planned food systems, the so-called food estates, the agricultural centers of Indonesia. And they are now located in North and South Sumatra, Central Kalimantan, Sumba Island, and Papua. These are already appointed, but others I think will follow soon. And technologies like climate smart agriculture, circular agriculture, smart logistics, smart water management, and precision agriculture are necessary to boost the food production in these areas in a sustainable way. At the embassy, we will organize a trade mission to North Sumatra this year. And for the agricultural track, we will focus on these food systems in the area of Humbang Hasandutan. This food system is focusing on horticulture. And we are in contact with Bappenas, Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Marine and Investment, etc., and the Dutch agro sector to support the development of this food system. And the support is on different levels, from policy dialogue, G2G, local government involvement, and private sector in order to create a mutual vision of sustainable food systems and to create a master plan for the whole agri-food value chain, from production, processing, and marketing access. But also, education and training in this area is important. This development of the modernizing agriculture will ask for renewed and improved education, and not only for the younger generation and the farmers of the future, but also training to the smallholders of today and the extension officers to make this agricultural transition possible. It's about improving capacity building. And to link the private sector to this educational program is important and to ensure that a trained and educated labor force will be available. It creates all kinds of new possibilities. And as also mentioned earlier, the status that allows SMK schools to operate closer to real market conditions is an important step in this. And therefore, it would be nice if we can also develop or strengthen a kind of SMK center of excellence in this area of the food estates. And then specifically in Humbang Hasandutan, for example, in specializing in horticulture. As I mentioned in the beginning, I'm not only pleased to be here in this final event, but also that it embarks and entering a new phase. And I'm really glad that we agreed to keep the strategic platform alive. the Steering Committee for Green Education, a platform on strategic level between the Ministry of Education, Ministry of Agriculture, the Presidential Office and the Embassy is, I think, quite unique. And in my opinion, this could be also extended in the near future with other ministries from both sides. In this platform, we can discuss projects and initiatives in the field of education, training, and capacity building to align these activities and to try to search for synergy and create more impact. And this platform and agreement fits very well with the initiatives between the two ministries of agriculture from our countries. For example, the long-standing collaboration on agriculture will be further strengthened by the renewed current Memorandum of Understanding on agriculture, as agreed during the state visits trade mission earlier in 2020. And furthermore, the current agricultural working group will be upgraded into a platform for strategic decisions and agreements between the two respective ministries. In my intention is to set up several working groups, from food systems, agroforestry, sustainable commodities to fishery and aquaculture, but also on education and training. And this technical agreement and the current steering committee fits very well in these initiatives. They are very much complementary to each other. So I see many possibilities to link this agreement and a strategic platform for the renewed Memorandum of Understanding between the two ministries of agriculture, but also to link it to the new Memorandum of Understanding water and the link to water for food with vocational green education. So to finalize, the link and synergy with other memorandums of understandings, mainly with the renewed Memorandum of Understanding on agriculture and the strategic working group, the link with the food systems, and to have regional focus and involvement of the private sector gives us enough possibilities and topics to continue our collaboration on green education for the coming years. And I'm looking forward to continue this collaboration. Thank you for your attention. Terima kasih.
Thank you very much. Terima kasih banyak Bapak Jos van Oom for the reflection on the revitalization project phase 1 and way forward 2021 to 2024. Ladies and gentlemen, Bapak dan Ibu yang saya hormati, now since both parts, Indonesia and also the Netherlands, joined us here today, and both parts says, I think they're all very ready. So the time has come for us to witness together the kickoff ceremony of phase 2 revitalization of TVET in the agricultural sector partnership of Indonesia and the Netherlands. And for this monumental occasion, we would like to invite once again Bapak Henry Tambunan, the Secretary of Directorate General of Vocational Education, Ministry of Education, Culture, Research and Technology, together with Ibu Ardi Brahen, the Deputy Head of Mission of the Embassy of the Kingdom of the Netherlands to Indonesia, Timor-Leste and ASEAN. Bapak Henry, together with Ibu Ardi Brahen, will sign and will officiate the renewal of the technical arrangement regarding the collaboration in green education, upscaling and follow-up of pilot project revitalization of TVET in the agricultural sector in Indonesia. All right, Bapak Henry Tambunan, together with Ibu Ardi Brahen, please kindly sign the technical arrangement document prepared for you as a formal sign to start the phase 2 partnership of Indonesia and the Netherlands in the agricultural sector in Indonesia. All right, it seems that Ibu Ardi Brahen has showed the sign to us all. We're still waiting for Bapak Henry Tambunan. The document signed by both parties will later be exchanged after this event ends, and despite having the document signing remotely due to the current situation, it remains official and acknowledged by both sides of the government. All right, it's time for me to invite Bapak Henry Tambunan and also Ibu Ardi Brahen to show the documents once again to the camera. So this important moment can also be documented. Can we give another big round of applause? We are going to take pictures in 3, 2, 1. Perfect. Thank you very much, Bapak Henry and Ibu Ardi, for the signing ceremony and documentation. Thank you so very much. Ladies and gentlemen, to mark the end of the first phase implementation, as well as have an optimistic outlook into the second phase, it is the perfect time to look back and take a closer look to what has happened and accomplished over the past 3 years in this partnership. To further illustrate you this, let us explore through the video here.
Indonesia's vocational high schools, or SMKs, are a vital backbone to the development of education for technical and vocational careers. So when our journey of the TVET Agriculture Pilot Project began through the support of the Netherlands government and Indonesia's Ministry of Education, Culture, Research and Technology, it was a very exciting time. With the signing ceremony on 8th March 2018, this project was a strong path forward to an improved technical education offering for Indonesia. It has an objective of collaboration in green education and to improve TVET in agriculture by producing competent graduates that fit labour market needs on the basis of principles and sustainability. The project implementation is based on these 4 pillars. 1. Strengthening institutional relations between industries and schools. 2. Industry synchronized curriculum development. 3. Teacher capacity building. And 4. Infrastructure development available for implementation of the new curriculum. With the 4 pillars of development in place, the Project Management Office, or PMO, was established by IPB University with the supervision of a stakeholder project steering committee. By strengthening the cooperation and coordination between government institutions, schools and the private sector, it leads to the link and match system where an industry synchronized curriculum incorporates business model thinking and enhancement of the value chain. Link and match also provides students with working competencies needed by industry. The success of the curriculum implementation needs skilled and capable teachers with access to high-quality training by agriculture industries and higher education institutions. Our upgraded infrastructure with the program has enhanced student skills and capacity to be ready for employment in agriculture-related industries. In a TVET innovation within this program is a focus on teacher capacity building through student assessment and evaluation. Through a survey, students can rank the teacher's competencies in areas such as mastery of teaching materials, the learning method used by the teacher, discipline in implementation, and the motivation and inspiration conveyed in the learning process. But let's hear what they think.
Revitalisasi SMK Pertanian.
Kerjasama Indonesia Belanda.
Terpenuhinya sarana-prasarana yang berstandar industri.
Melalui magang dan pelatihan, guru lebih kompeten dan percaya diri.
Guru yang kompeten didukung dengan sarana yang lengkap.
Dengan pembelajaran Teaching Factory, kita menerapkan
kurikulum berbasis industri dan menghasilkan lulusan yang kompeten dalam aspek keterampilan, pengetahuan, dan sikap yang sesuai dengan kebutuhan pasar tenaga kerja di bidang pertanian dan wirausaha.
Saya bisa belajar teknologi mutu benih
dengan fasilitas yang sangat baik.
Revitalisasi SMK
menciptakan lulusan yang lebih kompeten,
disiplin, dan
siswa siap bekerja.
SMK bisa.
Agriculture learning in Indonesia has been a predominantly male field, so strong steps were taken to balance the gender gap by appealing to females to enter the industry. In the beginning of the program, female awareness and participation was low, but through continued engagement across 3 years of implementation, participation numbers of male and female teachers grew to 906 male teachers and a very impressive 1,000 female teachers, reaching 51% gender parity, achieving beyond the desired results and all expectations. By the end of 2020, up to 1,650 students from both pilot schools had received the new teaching methods and materials. Enrollments had increased, yet the many challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic have shown difficulty reaching prospective students previously carried out through one-on-one activities. However, the overall increase outside of COVID proves the TVET platform has been a success at both pilot schools. The strengthened relation between industries and schools has also led to a higher rate of employability and entrepreneurship opportunities. Over the years, schools have built strong partnerships with the private sector, and this continues to grow with a stronger satisfaction towards the competency, attitude, and characteristics of the SMK graduates. Students have shown increased initiative and creativity, quality output, ability to adapt, self-developed competencies, problem solving, communication skills and collaborative skills. More importantly, industries noted increased soft skills in work ethics, politeness and honesty. In an outcome derived from technology based within the program, increased skills from these key drivers have shown some alumni opting for a different post-graduation path by moving on to higher education institutions or becoming young agri-entrepreneurs and tech startups. The Indonesian-Dutch collaboration in green education is extended for another 3 years, and access to expanded resources, which will include projects under the Orange Knowledge Programme, Nuffic Nesso, and other programs supported by the Dutch Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Ministry of Agriculture, Nature and Food Quality. It is the express wish and future vision that the Indonesian and Dutch governments continue to support these efforts to improve technology-based agriculture and innovation, efficiency and increased productivity, sustainability of food production related to climate adaptation, and the establishment of a circular economy promoting the agricultural sector among the younger generation. This program is key strategic collaboration between Indonesia and the Netherlands to establishing a strong, sustainable SMK education platform with the vision to develop Indonesia's agriculture to be a key player in global food security.
Wow, from that video we just watched, we can conclude here that so much achievements have been accomplished from the program. And of course, I'm very sure everyone here is hoping the best for the next extended program. Ladies and gentlemen, hadirin yang berbahagia, next up, it's time for me to invite Bapak Eko Hari Purnomo, the PMO TVET Revitalization Manager, to share with us and talk more on the success stories and lessons learned from the first phase implementation. Bapak Eko, the virtual floor is yours.
Sorry, I was muted. So, yeah, very good afternoon, everyone. And I think it's a very good occasion to have see every stakeholder of this project being attending this meeting. So, to start with, I would like to probably share with you our experience of revitalizing two pilot schools, SMK Jember and SMK Subang. And let's see from the okay, so actually all the things that we carried out within the last 3 years was as a follow-up of the instruction of President Jokowi to make sure that the vocational education in Indonesia really supplying the demand of the industry, because they are the end user of the vocational education in Indonesia. And to give you an overview of the project, as already mentioned several times, that the project itself consisting of 4 project pillars or project components: institutional strengthening, curriculum development, teacher capacity building, and infrastructure development. And if we look at the project timeline, actually the project is designed to be executed in 3 phases. And today is actually marking the end of the first phase and starting of the second phase of the project, of the revitalization project. And for the first phase of the 3 years project, even though we are working on the 4 components, but actually for every year, we have specific focus of the year. For example, for the first year, we are focusing more on the learning process improvement. And for the second year, we are working more on the development of the input, as well as branding of the schools. And in the last year, the 3rd year, we are working more on the upscaling and sustainability activities. So that was the project overview. And if you look at the implementation of the project, we see that we have accomplished the first and second year of the project. And by today, after the closing of this project, we also will have 100% accomplishment of the project. So the project of the first phase is fully accomplished by today. And now I would like to share with you probably the success stories of the project that we think we could share with everyone here. So let me start with the more or less the overview of the project itself. So in the beginning of the project, we are faced with the pre-existing condition, pre-existing situation, and we have also several input to work on the several activities to finally produce output and then outcome as well as impact. So it is not my intention to list all the activities and also the outcome of the project in this occasion, but probably we would like to share with you several achievements that we think is outstanding. From the institutional strengthening point of view, we have several achievements on enrollment, certification, digital literacy development, teaching factory, and BLUD status, management quality, and we will talk into more detail on each one of these. So this is, if we look at the enrollment rate in the schools, so what we can see in here is, in the beginning of the project, it seems that almost every applicant will be enrolled to the study program where the intervention is given. But then through the year, there is a significant increase in the enrollment rate, except for the last year, 2020, 2021, I think that's clear due to COVID. And we also understand that vocational education is intended to produce graduates who are having competencies as needed by the industry. So to do so, we need to make sure that the certification process is being recognized by the user. And to support that idea, so actually the project also facilitates for the certification of the assessor, as well as the development of the competency test materials. So we see that there are significant numbers of certified assessors in the schools available right now. And for the digital literacy development, we understand, especially during the pandemic period, that the use of IT and internet is very important to deliver the learning process smoothly. So to support that, actually, the project facilitated the training of the teachers to obtain even Google certificate for them to be able to make use of the technology and able to deliver the learning process well in the school. And 102 teachers are already attending and certified for the digital literacy. And in terms of teaching factory and BLUD status, we understand that providing facilities is not only reason for success, because without the proper management and also a clear legal status for the teaching factory to operate, it will be difficult for the schools. that's why the project also facilitates the attainment of the BLUD status. So the school will have a legal basis for them to generate income through the TEFA facilities. And that will be important as well for the sustainability of the project, so the sustainability post-project. And if you look at the management quality, we also facilitate the schools and also encourage them to implement ISO in the schools to make sure that the services that they provide to the schools and also to the community is well operated. And if you look at the curriculum development, this is something probably has been done for a long time, but something which is probably different in here is that we encourage schools to actually have a regular joint review of the curriculum and also its implementation with their industry partner to make sure that their curriculum and learning process is well adapted to the latest development in the industry. So for teacher equipped with industry-related skill and expertise, we already trained more than 1,600 teacher trainers. So in this case, we might count that the teacher numbers more than one if the teacher attending more than one training. That's why the number is impressive. It's 1,900 teachers. And most of the training was also performed in collaboration with the private sector as well. And again, even though the infrastructure is not the only thing, but without proper infrastructure, the learning process cannot be executed well as well. So there is also significant investment on the development of infrastructure in the two schools. Okay, so that was the success story, and I think I would like to also share with you the lesson learned that we try to extract from our experience of implementing the project for 3 years. So to do so, we use 4 different tools to try to extract the lesson learned from the project. The first one is what we call the gap analysis, where we try to identify what has been implemented in the project and also compare it to the regulation and policies of the government. And from that analysis, we identify 3 lessons learned, which is technical skill of teachers improvement, impact analysis, and school strategic plan. We also do impact analysis, external impact analysis, to really see the result as well as the outcome and impact of the activity. And from that also we identify several lessons learned. The very similar thing also we do via legal aspect assessment forum, where we also try to extract lesson learned from the forum. From that forum, we also have 4 points as a lesson learned. In addition, we also have international monitoring and evaluation. And if we combine all those tools together, then we extract the lesson learned and try to provide the recommendation. And this recommendation is actually formulated not only to the government, but also to the schools. The first 5 recommendations actually provided for the government. And I believe that most of the recommendation has been somehow adopted by the government. Like, for example, school mapping for revitalization program, comprehensiveness of curriculum review, readiness of administrative system, teacher competencies, as well as impact analysis. And for the schools, they need to improve the communication internally and also externally. They need to have strategic plan, and they also need to create a multi-partnership with private sector, not rely only on one partner. People-to-people connectivity with private sector deemed to be very important to sustain the collaboration with the private sector itself. And good management of the working load of teachers is indicated as very important aspect, because we do understand that teachers is not only taking care of the school development, but also they need to do the teaching as well. And also school need to have a clear follow-up mechanism to make sure that there is a follow-up after an agreement. Okay, so that was the lesson that we have. And I think I would like also to share with you the TVET survey indicator of achievement. And in this case, we do several surveys to measure the achievement of project indicators. So the first one is to see the employability rate of the SMK graduates. And this is the data that we obtain from graduates of the two schools. And what we see from here is that there are still significant numbers of SMK graduates who are actually not working in the agricultural sector, or even some of them still unemployed. But this one is actually, we may consider as the baseline data, and it's important for the school to make sure they continue tracer study to the alumni to see the progress or the impact of the intervention that we gave through the revitalization project. And second, for the indicator survey for institutional strengthening, I think it's very nice example how the schools try to expand their collaboration, not only with one or two partners, but you can see, for example, in Jember, the PPT study program, they're already partnering with 11 industries. And in Subang, they are partnering with 8 industries. So it's a very significant improvement as compared to the beginning of the project. And for the indicator for curriculum development, in this case, we would like to check the satisfaction level of the end user of SMK graduates. And we group them into 2 groups. The first one is the university, higher education, because actually we also see that some of the graduates are continuing their study into higher education. Second is the industry themselves. And both group of end user, they are actually satisfied with the performance of the graduate. So we see that the curriculum more or less also answering the need and the competencies required by the end user of SMK graduates. And for the survey for capacity building, in this case, we would like to measure the satisfaction level of students toward the performance of the teachers. Different aspects were asked to the students. And in conclusion, we could say that the students are very satisfied with the capacities and competencies of the teachers. And the last one is on the infrastructure. So in this case, we survey the satisfaction level of students, and we ask their satisfaction toward the facilities, toward the laboratory, as well as the basic facilities available in the schools. And again, in both schools, we receive very satisfied result. So with that, I would like to thank all the stakeholders contributing to the success of this project, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Bapak Eko. Thank you very much once again, Bapak Eko, for the presentation.
You are very welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions to Bapak Eko or to other speakers who will be sharing and presenting later, please don't hesitate to put your questions on the chat box. We will later be having questions and answer session, so we can discuss any questions submitted. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, before we continue our next agenda, we have a short information on the Change Maker Challenge that is very much interrelated with the Green Education Scheme. Let us take a look. Ladies and gentlemen, seluruh hadirin yang kami hormati, next up, I would like to invite several speakers who will be talking about the Orange Knowledge Program. The Orange Knowledge Program is a Dutch global development program available in 54 developing countries, funded by the Dutch Ministry of Foreign Affairs and managed by NUFIC. The program contributes to a society's sustainable and inclusive development by providing access to education and training for professionals and organizations in TVET and higher education. So we would like to invite Ibu Anjali Benen, who will be sharing about the Ready for Work upskilling strategy for the revitalization program of agricultural SMKs in Indonesia. Ibu Anjali will present together with her Indonesian counterpart, Bapak Catur Priyo Nugroho from FEDCA. So Ibu Anjali and also Bapak Catur, the virtual floor is yours. Excuse me, Ibu Anjali, it seems that your microphone is still muted.
Yeah, I thank you very much. Terima kasih. And selamat siang and good morning for each one in this meeting today. And indeed, together with Catur, we would like to explain briefly what we are currently doing, which program we are running under the OKP Institutional Collaboration Program of NUFIC. And I want to share already that parallel to this session, at this moment, a 3 days event is going on in Lombok with some of the SMKs who are involved in this program. And maybe, Catur, you are willing to tell more about that, what we are doing currently, which was started Monday and will end today. This program, we call it the Ready for Work, the Blueprint Upscaling Strategy for the Revitalization of Agricultural SMKs in Indonesia. It is mentioned already several times, the effort and the strategy and the vision, why it is necessary and what are the benefits of revitalization of these SMKs. The program itself, we have many partners in this program. The main partners in Indonesia are IPB in Bogor. You heard already ECO, who is our managing coordinator in Indonesia for this program. Also, VEDCA plays a very important role in enrolling this program, and we involve also University of Malang. So that are our partners. Many experts are selected who together with us work on developing an efficient and program that fits in the strategy of Indonesia, of course. At Dutch side, we have also several experts selected, and we try to choose from each institute we try to choose the best experts, and that means that many organizations are involved. Haas University is the main project coordinator, and I'm coordinating on behalf of Haas University this project from the Dutch side. We have Zone College, we have Cita Verde, and Lentith, you see that further, that are vocational institutes in the Netherlands at the same level, we can say, as the vocational institutes we are working for now in Indonesia. Van Hal Larenstein is University of Applied Science, also involved in this project. And my name is Anjali Benen, and I'm representing Hollandor Cooperative. We work with many consortia. We work on capacity building, not only for education, but also for the industry. So you see already a large consortium, and yes, of course, we are very grateful that we were granted to do this project. So this is not a project that is finished. We started this project last year based on, of course, about the strategy that was stressed already by the Indonesian government, what the ambitions are for vocational education. And together with NUFIC, it was converted into a call, I must say, to specify to focus on some major topics. Yeah, and for that we started, I can say almost March a year ago, and it will officially, the end time of this project is March next year. So we're still in the middle, and I think I come later on. Also due to COVID, it has all kind of challenges, but yeah, it's going quite well. Main focus of this program, what we are jointly doing with all partners preparing, is again what is already stressed several times, aligned with the local industry needs, improved entrepreneurship, skills of teachers, and as later on, of course, so also students, all with the ambition, or all with the purpose that these graduates really meet the needs of the labor market. A labor market in agri-food domain that is really developing quite fast. So it's a huge challenge to really give these students, give these young people the skills, the knowledge, and the attitude that is necessary to align with all these developments and all these developments in the agri-food domain. We hope to end up based after this project. I cannot say it's a pilot project, because we always also were involved in the Jember and the Subang activities, but we are learning every time together, and at the end we hope that we can support, also think about strategies for the upscaling of too many numbers of SMKs. Based on that, on the fact that that this is a huge ambition with so many SMKs, so many vocational institutes in Indonesia involved, it made no sense if we should work directly with these SMKs. So based on that, from the starting point, it was clear for us, for a sustainable system, it is necessary that there is a very capable team and organization in Indonesia who further can strengthen more SMKs when we should focus directly on these SMKs, like what we did in the initial phase in Subang and Jember. There we worked with the teachers of these institutes. That was a real good learning process also for us to really understand how the educational system in Indonesia works. In this project, in this program, we were convinced that it's very relevant that there is a very experienced team, a capable team, who can work with us on a program for the development, for the revitalization of these SMKs. And we found that team in 3 institutes. I mentioned it already: VETCA University, IPB in Bogor, and University of Malang, who have clear ideas about educational, didactical approaches for teachers, who can also assess teachers. So out of these 3 institutes, we selected a number of experts who committed themselves, who were able to commit themselves to this project, to this program. And yeah, I mentioned already, it is supported by all kind of experts from the Netherlands, selected based on the different topics that we are covering in this project. And these 3 institutes, the approach is, so together with the 3 institutes and the Dutch experts, we prepare a program. And that program was based, of course, on the ambitions in the from the Indonesian government, the strategy, the pathways, but also on a needs assessment in Lombok, in this case itself, with the industry. So based on all these ambitions and the needs, we made a planning, we prepared a program for teacher capacity building, for link and match activities, for institutional strengthening. So step by step, we are implementing all these subjects, preparing a program, and then the experts of the Indonesian VETCA, IPB and Malang, they implement it, they discuss it with the teachers, in this case in Lombok, the 3 selected schools, Sakra, Kuripan and Mataram. So our role is really on distance. We are not that much involved. We prepare the teaching programs, we prepare the workshops, and the people of VETCA, IPB and Malang, they do the actual implementation. And that is what I meant already, that is actually going on. 3 experts from VETCA, coordinated or hosted by experts from IPB online. They are implementing the Link and Match program at this moment in Lombok. Some main sectors we are focusing on, some aspects are quite generic, like problem-based learning. It doesn't matter if you have a group of, if you do that for a poultry, food processing, horticulture, agriculture program, entrepreneurship, that's relevant for many students, no matter what sector or that you are working with. But a few subjects are, of course, also really related to the innovations in a sector. And we are focusing in this program on some innovations in food processing, horticulture, and poultry. And all these 3 schools, they are selected based on their background in these 3 sectors. I'm going to give the word to Katur. Katur, yeah, you're really a front runner in this project. I get together with ECO, I can say that. And maybe you want to explain what we did still in the last year.
Yeah, I think since Chatur is not here, so I think I could help.
Oh, I was not aware of that. Okay, sorry, ECO. ECO, would you explain it? Or how shall we do that?
Okay, I will do in brief.
Yeah.
So for this Ready for Work project, actually there are several activities has been done so far. We started with need assessment by visiting the schools as well as the industry to really look into the need that they have on the ground, and then based on that need assessment, we develop several trainings for the SMKs. And from that identification, actually 4 activities has been done so far. Yeah, the first one was on the outcome or competence-based education and project-based learning. These 2 activities was led by our colleagues from University of Malang. And for blended learning was also led by our colleague from University of Malang. And for today, actually, for the entrepreneurship was also carried out, I think about a month ago, 1 or 2 months ago. And today we are having Link and Match workshop or training face-to-face in Lombok. And this is our last day. And that's why the reason Pak Chatur is not here, because he's closing the event in Lombok. So actually I'm supposed to be there as well, but I cannot split myself into 2. So I'm joining you, Angeli, here. And we still have 3 other activities, which is institutional capacity and also technical trainings on poultry, horticulture, and food processing. As well as the last one is on the evaluation of the project to see the impact of the project. Please, Angeli, you may continue.
Thank you, Eiko. Yeah, exactly that. And yeah, also for me, I also hope to join this closing ceremony now in Lombok, but also I could not split myself in 2, but Bram, you see that maybe that's the person in the middle of Haas University. Together with Katur, they are joining now the closing ceremony in Lombok about the Link and Match program, where about 40 people were involved from teachers and industry players. And 3 days they discussed how they can collaborate with each other, and they end up today with some action plans to move forward. You see here institutional capacity also. Maybe that's also good to mention that there are more programs going on, and where possible we try to find connection with other programs. And one of the activities is the Management School of Maastricht. He will explain that by himself. And we both also would like to strengthen or to support these principles of these institutes in the future development. So for them, it's also they might get some support in strength of in further innovation, inspiring these teachers, where it's going to. So together we are going to implement a program for the principals who are participating in the program of Management School of Maastricht, and in our program we are going to make a joint action for that. The success. By the way, I must admit, Eko, next time I'm going to ask a training for you to make such nice presentations. That's not my best skill, but I do it here with some pictures. I think overall the success of not especially of this program, but all programs, is that it's really a collaboration between the government, the schools, and the business. For us, it's very relevant that this program is really, that there is a clear understanding by the Ministry of Education about the developments that are going on in the agri-food domain, about the challenges, but also the opportunities it has to offer. But we have so many challenges to face in the coming years about technology, how the sector is organized, new investors who are coming in, data-driven information, food safety is important, food sustainability, ecology is important. So there are many challenges going on. And I'm really grateful, and I think that's part of the success, that the Ministry of Education in Indonesia really sees these developments and develop their real very proactive mission and a vision for these, what that reflects for the vocational students. We need these students very hard in the sector to follow and to align with all these developments. It creates opportunities for new entrepreneurs. And I must say I'm involved in many projects all over the world, but I've never met a government who was so really proactive, ambitious in seeing these developments and converting it into a program for vocational education. So I think that's one of the success stories, success factors already. And that it's, we are also very grateful for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, for NUFIC, and the embassy, who are really working together then with the ministry, that we could support these developments. So I think that are already main criteria for making any program successful, that we get it top down, and we're upwards, that there is real connection between each other. The program itself, what we see here now in what we're doing in Lombok, it's very relevant for us that we have that good connection with IPB and VETCA University in Malang, because we cannot copy the ideas we have in the Netherlands to Indonesia. The systems are different, the culture is different, the teaching program. So it is really a co-creation, and we need a joint effort to make the best of both worlds, to make it feasible in Indonesia. So altogether, I feel that from my perspective, that are many main factors to make a success of such a program. The program itself, it has also its challenges, and I want to mention one main challenge. We launched the program a year ago, now maybe a little bit more longer than a year ago. But to launch and to implement a program, but really create an impact, it needs real effort on the ground. You saw the number of subjects that was mentioned by Eko, and now due to COVID, we noticed we cannot travel. We have everything to do on distance. All teachers, everyone in the educational sector has an overload on work when we faced the situation of the pandemic. You had to convert all your teaching programs to online programs. You have to reach your students in other ways. You have to do other ways of assessments. And parallel to that, we are also implementing a new program with many subjects in a very short period. I feel that is a huge challenge. When we want to create the impact we hope to realize, we really need to discuss with each other, how can we embed the learnings in such a way that we really create the impact that we want to have. Because training of trainers it's not enough. They need to experiment, they need to be coached, we need to practice, and we really need to embed it in the school system. All together with all the current changes they have to do already last year, I feel it's a very the absorption capacity is not unlimited, I would say. So for that, I think we have to think very carefully to take care that people are not overstressed, but that we create the impact with this program. Yeah, and further, of course, after that, it does not stop. It was great already to hear that there is a phase 2. These developments in the agri-food domain are going on. I think we must really think about how can we create a system that these vocational students, the teachers and the students, that they can follow these further innovations. So yeah, that's my presentation about the current project. So real impact we cannot monitor yet. We have still a year to go, and in between, of course, we do some evaluations, but we hope to inform you later on about the impact we could make with this program. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ibu Angeli, for the presentation. Bapak dan Ibu yang kami hormati, ladies and gentlemen, once again, we would like to welcome any questions. If you have any questions to our speakers, please put your questions onto the chat box. Bapak dan Ibu yang kami hormati, jika memiliki pertanyaan yang ingin disampaikan, baik untuk Bapak Eko, Ibu Angeli, atau untuk speakers yang lain, narasumber yang lain yang nanti akan memaparkan materi, silahkan tuliskan pertanyaannya di kolom chat. Jangan khawatir, pertanyaannya tidak wajib dalam bahasa Inggris. Jadi tidak masalah, silahkan dituliskan saja pertanyaan, atau mungkin ada rasa penasaran tentang proyek yang akan dijalankan di program mendatang, silahkan juga dituliskan di kolom chat. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, hadirin yang berbahagia, next up, I would like to invite Bapak Huub Mude, the Lapsindo Project Director, and Bapak Detya Triyunandar, who will be sharing about the Lapsindo Link and Match SMK in Indonesia, strengthening teacher training in TVET agriculture in Nusa Tenggara Timur or NTT. Alright, Bapak Huub and also Bapak Detya, the virtual floor is yours.
Good afternoon, good morning. This is Huub Mude speaking. I am now seeing where I can share my, I need to share my screen, but I don't see which one I have to share.
It's okay, Bapak Huub. Take it easy. And I also would like to invite once again, everyone, if you have any questions, please put onto the chat box. Please tell us anytime you're ready, Bapak Huub.
Yeah, give me a minute. Here it is. I had too many windows open and then, so I couldn't see it on my screen. Is it appearing?
Yes, we can see your presentation now.
That's good. Thanks for giving the opportunity to give a brief presentation about the Lapsindo project, which I will do together with Dr. Detya, director from our partner Paul Bantang Bogor. And we agreed that he would start. Dr. Detya, are you with us? And can you indeed start the presentation?
Oke, baik. Terima kasih, Pak Huub.
Sama-sama.
Suara saya, it's okay ya? My sound is okay?
Yes, very okay.
Baik, terima kasih. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to start the presentation in this session by presenting an introduction about the LM Sindo project, which will then be presented in more detail by Bapak Hub. Ladies and gentlemen, currently Indonesia and Dutch are implementing a collaboration through a project called LM Sindo, Link and Match SMK in Indonesia, strengthening teacher training in TVET, agriculture in East Nusa Tenggara atau NTT. The project is implemented in Indonesia and focus on NTT region. Project partners consist of Polbangtan Bogor or Politeknik Pembangunan Pertanian Bogor, SMK Waibakul di NTT, SMK PP Kupang, and Undana. Dutch partner include MSM Hogeschool van Amsterdam, Keypoint, Sekolah Vokasi IPB, and Kadin. Please go to the next slide, Pak Hub. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, LM Sindo is a Dutch and Indonesian vocational teacher training expertise. This project focuses on SDG 2, in particular on the goals to end hunger, achieve food security and improve nutrition, and also promote sustainable agriculture. The activity carried out is strengthening SMK teacher training in and pre-service on national and on regional level. That's it at NTT region. These activities include educational and organizational capacity building and strengthening linkage through the triple helix platform. Next slide, please. There are several important points. First, the LM Sindo project aims to improve SMK pre and in-service teacher training and institutional collaboration on national level. Then this project focuses on labor market needs at the regional levels. Then this project is linking with business in all project operation and also stimulate peer learning in service training in NTT region and stimulate blended learning. Ladies and gentlemen, there are several problems or issues maybe that are the priorities of the LM Sindo project. There are high unemployment rates among vocational graduates, slow adjustment TVET to industrial needs, in this case related to skill mismatch, lack of competency standards or teaching standards for productive teachers, and also there are presidential decree number 9 2016 to revitalize and improve TFT. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. So for the next, maybe Pak Hub will continue. Please, Pak Hub.
Terima kasih, Pak Detya. Yes, I will continue. I think I just want to highlight that an important aspect of the very good collaboration in the Dutch-Indonesian collaboration in this project is that it involves SMK under the wing of Ministry of Education, but of course that we are strongly cooperating with the educational wing of the Ministry of Agriculture. And I would like, that's also why I keep this picture here, I would like in particular to express my gratitude of the strong commitment and personal involvement of Dr. Ibu Vida Arsanti, who is actually leading Pusdiktan of the Ministry of Agriculture. And really through her personal involvement, we also have managed all kind of challenges to also overcome certain issues in the project. So, and you see here a picture of her in Jogja at one of the exhibitions, and it was immediately followed up that she in person went to Kupang, where she has met our project partners there in person to get understanding of really what is happening on the ground. So I think that is what makes this project special. So of course we collaborate with Pol Bantang Bogor, but through the Ministry of Agriculture, we hope that also the additional extension from the project granted by NUFIC will also allow us to meet our promise to also scale up to the other 7 Pol Bantangs located in other locations in Indonesia. I think that's also what makes it very interesting what we're doing here, really complementing the work, for instance, by Ready for Work. I highlight in this presentation, let's say, 3 aspects that we, 3 clusters of activities that we have and currently are doing. I think there's currently almost finalized a very big activity on value chain analysis. So when it is about agricultural education, it of course needs to be based on actually what is about the value chain, the actors there active, and what are really the challenges and opportunities in the value chain. So we're very happy that Undana, the regional university in Kupang, is part of the consortium, and they have overcome all kind of hurdles in lockdown to do all kind of field work in the value chain. So you see, content-wise, we are focusing, of course, because it's a teacher training program, on general didactics and pedagogics, but content-wise, more technically, on the most important and promising commodities in NTT, which are considered kettle, coffee, cashew nut, which is a small one but has a lot of potential, Chinese cabbage, which is a local extremely important, and maize, which is also locally important, but of course also important for as feed. And so the research has been done on Sumba and in Kupang area. And I'm expecting to get the reports soon, and then can also share them with for instance, the embassy and the ministries in Indonesia. The other one, which is also, I think that has also been mentioned before, is strengthening, let's say, the entrepreneurial skills and entrepreneurship education on SMK and polytechnic level, and there we have done a gap analysis and review of what's currently happening. This is taken care by our experts from the Hogeschool of Amsterdam. So the University of Applied Science in Amsterdam, who is in the Netherlands, let's say the biggest institute with expertise on pedagogy and didactics. Also there, I think also Pol Bantang has expressed a particular interest, because through the Ministry of Agriculture, they have the currently so-called YES program, so Young Entrepreneurs Support. And we are now exploring how we can also bring that program, to leverage this program also to perhaps to other education institutions that are not part of the Ministry of Agriculture. And the third element, which is to be finalized, is the webinar on, is about gender. And I've learned in all my work in Indonesia, but also on other continents, that it's very important to give explicit attention to the role of men and women, because if you don't make it explicit, it is so easily forgotten. And before we know, we are only sitting around the table with men from my age, 50 plus, and taking all kind of decisions about young female students. But I'm very happy to notice in Indonesia that it's a lot of dynamic, enthusiastic women and girls are active also in the agricultural sector. At least I can recall an interview that was, I think, recorded by NESA of a student from was it Sumba, I think. What I think is also very important about capacity building, that because of COVID, the modus operandi of doing this kind of analysis has changed. Instead of being dependent on one or two experts and doing this, it has been much more a team effort, which I think is very great. So where people of, let's say, team from each institution really have, and they didn't have to travel. So they were instructed by the Indonesian experts, and they actually did the assessment and are, let's say, did the data collection. So I think that's also very good. So this kind of team effort, I think that is really the case here in all our projects, where I also hear from my colleagues, experts, the enormous enthusiasm, the commitment from teachers on SMK level, on polytechnic level, and also university level to really engage with international experts for the benefit of the vocational education. So I would like to give a big compliment there. I think 2 more slides. Future activities, there's still a lot to do. So also I think Angeli made a comment about the challenge of, in the end, to have impact in our activities, that due to COVID, it's we're very happy about involvement, flexibility, commitment, but for sure things go often slower, more difficult, and that we also face. An additional challenge we faced rather recently in Kupang, where there was a tempest, and so there was really an issue. And then you can imagine that a dean of a college has another priority than dealing with a project with Master School of Management. So again, my compliments of the resilience of the people there in Kupang to overcome the challenges they already had, and sometimes worsened because of the storms. While I was talking, I suppose you have been able to read the slide, so I don't have to read everything. It's also there. Of course, Master School of Management is a management school. We have expertise on management training, so we really would like to combine that with Ready for Work. Now, I mentioned this, I think it is also the right opportunity to also mention that Master School of Management is also in another project which is not presented today, working very closely together with Sekolah Vokasi from IPB and the ERAS group in the Netherlands, also on agricultural TVET, which has a focus on strengthening the skills and capacities and curriculum in the area of poultry and dairy, which is focusing on 6 SMKs and 4 polytechnics, including Pol Bantang Bogor, on Java Island. And it's the intention there that in this management training with Ready for Work, we also bring in the principles of those 6 SMKs as a pilot. Last, I think I would like to once more stress that I find it extremely important to align what we are doing. I mean, together with Pol Bantang, we in the in the SAS21 project with Iris and Sekolah Vokasi IPB, with what is also agreed on the program level between Indonesia and Netherlands. So I am very happy of the very positive relations with the Dutch Embassy and NATO, and also the close ties with the Ministry of Agriculture and also Ministry of Education through Pa Wikan, who has also personal relations with IPB, and also Pa Saryadi, of course. So thank you for that. And I must also admit that, let's say, the alignment and cooperation with other initiatives has not become easier because of COVID, because this sometimes really needs people to really meet and to explore how to cooperate. So I think we all recognize that it's not so easy. So the more importance of that we have this meeting, and you gave me the opportunity to give this presentation. So thanks for all. Thanks, Pa Dr. Detia, for joining me in the presentation, and that you guide your team to make this a successful event. And also I would like to thank my two colleagues, Rara Devayanti and Gigi Limpens, who are very important for moving this project further. Without further ado, I would like to give the floor back to the organizers.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Bapak Hub, for the presentation. Well, aligned with the presentation, any questions, please feel free to drop your questions onto the chat box. Bapak dan Ibu, jika memiliki pertanyaan, silahkan dituliskan di kolom chat. Dan juga langsung saja kalau begitu, we are ready to move on to our next agenda. After listening to the speakers, now it's the opportunity for all of you to raise some questions. So if you have any questions, please put your questions onto the chat box. Silahkan tuliskan pertanyaannya di chat box. Saya bisa lihat di sini sudah ada beberapa pertanyaan yang masuk. Jadi langsung saja, I will read the questions first, and then I will invite our speakers, representatives to answer the questions. Baik, pertanyaan yang pertama, the first question from Bapak David, SMKN 5 Jember. Bagaimana kabarnya Bapak dan Ibu Guru SMKN 5 Jember? Semoga semua dalam keadaan sehat-sehat. Baik, apakah untuk dua sekolah ini sudah terakhir dan apakah tidak ada program lanjutan? Wah, untuk pertanyaan pertama ini, boleh saya mengundang mempersilahkan Bapak Eko ya untuk menjawab. Will these two schools, SMKN 5 Jember and SMKN 2 Subang, will they have extension program? Pak Eko, silahkan.
Yeah, thank you, David, for the question. And I think a question of not only SMK Jember, but probably also SMK Subang, SMK 2 Subang. And of course, as a project management office, we would expect that the two schools will have significant roles in the revitalization of other schools. But of course, it will really strongly depend on the policy of the government, in this case, the Ministry of Education, Culture, Research, and Technology. And I think looking at all the investment that we already put in place into these two schools, I think we should identify the big roles, significant roles of the schools in helping revitalizing other schools. Yeah.
Baik, thank you very much Bapak Eko. Dan pertanyaan selanjutnya, the next question dari Ibu Trinarti Eka Jati, SMKN 2 Subang. Wah, kalau tadi saya sudah menanyakan kabar rekan-rekan di SMKN 5 Jember, bagaimana kabarnya Bapak dan Ibu Guru di SMKN 2 Subang? Semoga semuanya juga dalam keadaan sehat dan bersemangat selalu. Dan ini pertanyaannya, wah ini masih berkaitan ya. Jadi sudah selesai programnya di fase pertama dan akan melakukan yang terbaik. Jadi SMKN 2 Subang is more than ready to do their best bagi kemajuan SMK Pertanian. Nah, apakah ada tugas selanjutnya, terutama hubungannya dengan sekolah-sekolah yang akan dipilih di fase kedua nanti agar bisa mempersiapkan diri. Wah, ini tampaknya masih berhubungan dengan Bapak Eko. Bagaimana Bapak Eko? What should they do to prepare themselves so they can help the schools who are assigned for the next phase?
Yeah, first, the role that they could play could be an official roles, like when they are appointed as a SMKPK, Center of Excellence, then they can be a sort of sekolah penggerak. Right? They could help the neighboring schools to also start revitalize the education in their schools. But that's if we are only thinking from official point of view, right? But actually, with all the knowledge, with all the expertise and competencies that the teachers, the school, they already gained during the program, I would probably also imagine they could take initiative themselves to sort of, let's say, creating a training that they could organize, the school could organize to be offered to other schools. Yeah? And it can be done through, for example, I think they have a sort of organization among the teachers, organization among the school principals. And that channel can be used, of course, to disseminate the knowledge, the expertise, the experience that they have so far.
Thank you very much, Bapak Eko, for the explanation. And also to add as an addition, there is also a comment from Jan Steverink from Zone College. And I think it's a very good point. It will be a good idea to build a network of schools that have been involved in previous pilot projects to speed up developments of their colleagues who will be revitalized in the near future. And thank you for being ready. I think everyone agree with this point of view. All right, next question from Marika from Nuvik. Thank you for the interesting project presentation. If time allows, I would like to ask the project implementers to highlight the role of VETCA in the projects. All right, it seems that this question will be for Bapak Catur. Is Pak Catur here with us?
No, Chatur is not with us, but we can explain because we mentioned already Chatur is now in the closing ceremony of the Link and Match program in Lombok. But to answer Marika's question, Marika, you can compare it with the Dutch STOAS in the Netherlands. It's an institute that teach teachers in the agro-food domain. So they play an important role. When you ask many teachers of vocational institutes in Indonesia, where do you gain your knowledge from, your expertise from, that is from VETCA. They get the training from VETCA. That is one main institute. So yeah, that role they have now also in our current program, and not only in Lombok, but also in a new program that was starting a few months ago. Yeah, they are involved as experts for teaching of teachers. Is that sufficient answered?
Thank you very much for the explanation, Ibu Angeli. Marika, you probably, we hope that's a sufficient answer. And please, if you still have any concerns or questions, please drop your comment or questions onto the chat box.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's clear.
Okay, thank you so much, Ibu Marika. Oke, ada beberapa pertanyaan yang sudah masuk, namun tampaknya memang ditujukan kepada Direktorat SMK. Baik, kalau begitu saya akan bacakan terlebih dahulu. Mohon berikan saya waktu. Oke, tampaknya saat ini saya nantinya akan mengundang Bapak Bakrun. Kami mohon ya Pak untuk bisa menjawab pertanyaan yang sudah masuk berikut ini. Adakah rencana untuk meluaskan skala pengalaman menjadi pengetahuan dari 2 sekolah yang sudah menjadi pilot project dalam fase pertama sehingga bisa memperluas kebermanfaatan ke SMK lain? Kami persilahkan Bapak Bakrun. Baik, apakah Bapak Bakrun bisa mendengar suara saya, Pak? Dari kami belum bisa mendengar suara Bapak Bakrun. Mungkin masih di mute mikrofonnya. Baik, kami sambil menunggu untuk bisa terhubung kembali dengan Bapak Bakrun, saya akan melanjutkan terlebih dahulu nih. Nah, ini tampaknya ada beberapa pertanyaan lagi yang sudah masuk, namun kita masih punya waktu, Bapak dan Ibu semua. We still have time. So if you still have further questions or comments, or you would like to write down your wishes or hopes for the next phase, please don't hesitate to put your comment onto the chat box. Baik, sekarang, okay, now I think I also would like to ask Ibu Angeli. It's very, there is a point that's very interesting. Ibu Angeli earlier mentioned that she has conducted so many projects in different places, but she mentioned earlier that she didn't find any other government that is so proactive and also ambitious to support the implementation of the projects. So Ibu Angeli, could you elaborate more about what's so interesting from your point of view, from your experience conducting projects in Indonesia, or probably you would like to tell us what can we improve to do for the next phase? Please, Ibu Angeli.
Oh wow, I'm not prepared for this question, but yeah, you know, to elaborate on that, it helps so much when, for example, when the stakeholders involved in the agri-food domain, when they hear the same story, when it's not going from different angles with different stories and different ambitions, so that alignment between the government, the schools now who are involved, the stakeholders who are involved are very crucial. And maybe to elaborate more on that, I know it from Europe, from example, from the after our Second World War, there was a clear message from within the EU. First, we have to focus on food availability, then we have to focus on food quality, then we have to focus on food sustainability. So there was, every time there was a clear message, and many stakeholders and many projects were focusing on that specific topic. And then you really make steps forwards, you make progress. And but sometimes you see also that in other countries, then we are focusing on food sustainability, then there is another subject important, but that's not aligned. And yeah, I'm really happy, I'm really grateful. I've never seen it like I see it here in Indonesia, that there was such a clear idea about the challenges we will face with in the agri-food domain, but it will also offer opportunities. But we have also many challenges to overcome about food sustainability losses, data technology, new investors who are coming in, and we need to prepare our sector for that, and we need to start with these students. And we should never underestimate the importance of vocational education, because that are actually the people who are doing the work in the field itself. So yeah, I think that alignment and that the organizations who are waving the path that we can do our work, that is very helpful to stretch, yeah, we say in the Netherlands, to get the nose in the right direction, in the same direction. Yeah, that was the answer on your first question. I forgot the second one, to be honest, sorry.
So is there any, probably you can give us any advice how to improve what we have done? You probably want to point some areas that you might think we need to improve.
Yeah, what I really hope, I mentioned that, to be honest, more times, education is one part, but when these young people are going to work in the private sector itself, and there the things are, of course, the things are going to differ, but the culture is still traditional. We will not make use of the skills and attitude they are learned in the teaching program. I hope that at the same time, parallel, that we can organize programs for the private sector, that goes hand in hand. So not only education, but also the further stakeholders in the industry. When we can combine programs in both angles of, I think I would suggest to do that and to further to speed up the developments. That is my advice. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much, Ibu Anjali. Thank you so very much. I agree, the more parties are involved, the greater impacts that will be given to the society and communities, especially in Indonesia. Thank you so much, Ibu Anjali. Baik, pertanyaan selanjutnya. Oke, baik, kali ini pertanyaan yang masuk ditujukan ke Direktorat Mitras DUDI. Apakah Bapak Saryadi masih bersama kami di sini, Bapak Saryadi? Selamat sore, Bapak Saryadi. Apakah bisa mendengar suara saya? Oke, tampaknya Bapak Saryadi.
Selamat sore.
Selamat sore, Bapak. Semoga sehat selalu ya, Pak ya.
Terima kasih. Selamat sore, sehat selalu.
Baik, Bapak, ada pertanyaan yang masuk, Pak. Bagaimana meyakinkan pelaku industri atau perusahaan terkait kebijakan insentif pajak bagi industri yang berkolaborasi dengan SMK? Silahkan, Bapak Saryadi.
Iya, terima kasih. Barangkali ini salah satu bentuk insentif ya yang diberikan oleh pemerintah bagi dunia usaha, dunia industri atau perusahaan yang berkontribusi dalam pengembangan pendidikan vokasi dalam bentuk insentif super tax deduction atau pengurangan pajak. Pemerintah telah menerbitkan peraturan pemerintah nomor 45 tahun 2019 dan diikuti dengan peraturan Menteri Keuangan nomor 128 tahun 2019 di mana para perusahaan atau wajib pajak yang bekerja sama dengan pendidikan vokasi atau pelatihan vokasi menyelenggarakan kegiatan vokasi yang mencakup pemagangan, kemudian praktek kerja lapangan dan pembelajaran di pendidikan vokasi, maka yang bersangkutan berhak untuk mendapatkan pengurangan pajak sebesar 200% dari nilai rupiah yang dikeluarkan oleh perusahaan guna mendukung pengembangan pendidikan vokasi. Nah, tentunya ini secara khusus bisa menjadi pendorong atau barangkali juga daya tarik begitu ya bagi perusahaan-perusahaan untuk bisa berkontribusi yang lebih terhadap pendidikan vokasi. Selain tentunya secara umum tadi kita sudah mendengarkan berbagai paparan dari Pak Dirjen, kemudian juga tadi dari Duta Besar Belanda untuk Indonesia bahwa tentunya pendidikan vokasi ini menjadi jawaban untuk penyediaan SDM yang bisa menunjang sustainability dari bisnis dan juga tentunya bisa meningkatkan kapabilitas perusahaan dengan ketersediaan SDM yang kompeten gitu ya. Nah, tentunya ini perlu upaya bersama, perlu dukungan dari semua pihak guna memastikan penyamaan persepsi gitu ya, pemahaman yang sama dalam konteks untuk pengembangan SDM melalui pendidikan vokasi. Kami dari Direktorat Mitra Studi memfasilitasi perusahaan-perusahaan atau wajib pajak yang ingin memanfaatkan super tax deduction sebagai salah satu bentuk apresiasi dari pemerintah kepada perusahaan-perusahaan yang berkontribusi dalam pengembangan pendidikan vokasi. Seperti saat ini kami juga sedang bersama kawan-kawan industri di bidang manufaktur gitu ya untuk bersama-sama kami melakukan coaching klinik bagaimana untuk memanfaatkan super tax deduction bagi perusahaan-perusahaan di kawasan industri ya dengan tujuan akhir adalah membangun kemitraan yang lebih erat dan berkualitas antara SMK dengan perusahaan-perusahaan yang ada di kawasan. Demikian Mbak, terima kasih.
Baik, terima kasih banyak Bapak Saryadi untuk penjelasannya. Wah, ini terkait dengan insentif pajak bagi industri ini bisa dibilang merupakan sebuah berita baik ya. Dan dengan adanya insentif pajak ini memang harapannya bisa mendorong dan mempercepat juga ya perkembangan. Apalagi pastinya siapa yang tidak mau ya punya tenaga kerja yang punya kompetensi yang baik dan mumpuni di bidangnya. Wah, pastinya nih semua pihak harus terus bergandeng tangan, bekerja keras untuk mewujudkan impian kita bersama. Baik, kalau begitu, it seems that I apologize. It seems that we have a very limited time. Thank you so much for the questions you have raised. Terima kasih banyak atas pertanyaan Bapak dan Ibu sekalian. And thank you so much once again for the questions. And thank you so much for our speakers or representatives. Can we give another big round of applause for Pak Eko, Ibu Angeli, Bapak Hup, and also Bapak Detia. Baik, Bapak dan Ibu, hadirin yang kami hormati, ladies and gentlemen. Hadirin yang kami hormati semua, the Phase 1 TVET project implementation has come to an end with such remarkable achievements. I can say that we all look forward to continue the strong commitment and partnership of the Indonesian and Dutch government in the Phase 2 project implementation. We remain hopeful that it will lead to both countries working together to enrich each other. Let us also take a moment to wish that the pandemic situation will move to a better direction soon so that the collaboration can bring even more positive impacts. Ladies and gentlemen, Bapak dan Ibu semua, it seems that we have reached the end of our journey today. We would like once again thank you for attending and being part of this monumental ceremony and event. But before we leave the virtual room, I would like to invite everyone to turn on our camera and take some photos together to commemorate this activity. So I hope everyone doesn't mind to turn on the camera and get ready. Okay, may I invite everyone to show me your fist like this in front of us. It shows our strong ambition, very enthusiastic, and we'll support this program together. Boleh ya? Ini tanda semangat bersama ya. Jadi boleh kita di depan sini, kita bisa bareng-bareng, we can say together, SMK bisa. Boleh ya, seperti itu ya. Jadi boleh sekali nih kalau misalnya mau dinyalakan juga mikrofonnya, tapi kalau tidak juga tidak masalah. Baik, we're going to take pictures together. It seems that everyone is ready. Kita akan berfoto bersama. We are going to take pictures in 3, 2, 1 saying SMK bisa. 3, 2, 1.
Bisa.
SMK bisa. Luar biasa. Apakah ada galeri kedua? Is there the next gallery? Oke, ada galeri kedua ya. Jadi kita berfoto sekali lagi. One more time. Let's say SMK bisa once again. 3, 2, 1.
SMK
bisa.
SMK bisa.
Luar biasa. Boleh saya minta tepuk tangannya sekali lagi. Let's give another big round of applause. Terima kasih banyak Bapak dan Ibu semua. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. And thank you so much. I also just read Bapak Hup comment. Thank you so much for this great meeting. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Bapak Hup. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mbak Selvi.
Terima kasih banyak. Baik,
Terima kasih.
Kita sudah tiba di akhir acara. Terima kasih banyak sekali lagi. Let us take care of each other and pray that we remain safe and healthy. And once again, my name is Selvin Jenita, and I'm signing off as your Master of Ceremony of the day. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Terima kasih Ibu dan Bapak semuanya. Mohon maaf.
Terima kasih kembali.